This was quite moving. Thank you. It's a beautiful place. Michael Nyman a Santa Croce in Gerusalemme. Sorry. È il 7 luglio 2018, siamo qui a Santa Croce in Gerusalemme per la manifestazione per il cinema italiano ed è una grande emozione avere qui un grande artista come Michael Nyman, che stasera riceverà dal nostro presidente del centro sperimentale Felice Laudadio il diploma honoris causa per musica e suono del film. Chiediamogli subito se è contento di prendere questo diploma, appunto. Tonight you will receive the honorary diploma of the Centro Sperimentale, you are the second author of music for film that gets this diploma. The first one being Ennio Morricone. So, of course, who else? So, your impression about getting this diploma?
Well, I'm obviously very delighted, very flattered, and very flattered that it's Ennio. It's the other maestro and me, because I think Morricone has kind of changed the sound of soundtracks in a way that is kind of inescapable, but in a way that fortunately, except on one occasion, has not had any effect on me except as a spectator. So none of the music that I've written has been influenced by Morricone, and I feel very, very proud to have been able to present my work in a way that is as independent as his music, except when I was writing the music for a film called The Claim with Michael Winterbottom, and there was one scene. There was one scene that there was a pure kind of Sergio Leone scene, and I said to Michael, I said, "Look, this needs Morricone style music." So I wrote what I thought was a Morricone style piece, and Michael was very indulgent, and he said, "Yeah, that's very nice," and we recorded it. And I gave it to him. He went away to edit the soundtrack to the film. And then when I saw the film, he'd rejected that piece of music. So it doesn't exist in the film, but it exists on the soundtrack album. So, and we met a few times, and I feel very proud to be kind of codependent and independent.
And we are very proud to have you here, of course. Tonight you will also show a film of yours. Now you want to be a total filmmaker, I would say. Why did you choose to put your music on a film which is based on stock footage from World War I?
Okay, well. I've always taken photographs, and I've always, let's say since the late 80s, in the 60s, Peter Greenaway and I would go around London. We each had a Bolex 16mm camera, and we would film. Interestingly, we would film political demonstrations. We would film anti-Vietnam marches. And in 1967, Greenaway said to me, "It's very fine walking around London with a camera, and it's very fine shooting a lot of footage. But a film is a film, and footage is footage, and it's about time that you made a film." So he kind of instructed me to make a film that was complete and was not just a kind of sequence of images. So in the summer of 1967, there was a a legalized pot rally at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park. And I said to Greenaway, okay, this is going to be my exercise. I will film this event, which is a very hippie event. And Greenaway said he would edit the film, and we edited the film to All You Need Is Love. And I had a fantastic cast. My leading cast member was Allen Ginsberg. So I started as a filmmaker with Allen Ginsberg as my star. And then during the 80s and 90s, I had every format of video camera, and I shot a lot of footage again. And then I had two friends who were filmmakers, and I showed them this footage, just as a kind of indulgence. And they said, well, this footage needs to be edited. There's material for films here. So I've been making films now for 20 years, and I continue. I always leave the house with a camera in my pocket of some sort. I make film. Basically, I'm a street filmmaker, in the same way the street photographer is a street photographer. And I was commissioned to in 2014, 4 years ago, 2013, to make a film, to make an artwork that had some connection with the First World War. So I thought it's very easy as a composer to write a second war requiem, but I thought as a filmmaker, I would like to use archive material, because all the material I use in my films, I shoot myself. So Max Pugh, my editor, and I went to the French military film archives in Paris, and I discovered the archive. So I'm kind of totally hooked on the archive. But I'm also still hooked on this sense, this kind of Dziga Vertov sense, that there are films being played out in front of me and for me. I'm the only person who sees them. And if other people see these films being played out for me on the street, I'm the only person who actually makes the film. So I capture things that nobody else notices, or nobody else sees, or that nobody else captures. And I find that the visual images are far more stimulating than musical images. I find that writing a piece of music is very slow, and the final product can be very powerful, but it takes me, I'm a fast composer, but it takes me quite a long time to write a 5-minute piece of music. But I can make a 35-minute film in 35 minutes. I can have a single shot and very minimal editing and just a bit of titling, and that's a film. And I just find that thrilling. I find the ability that the technology is around, that it's very cheap, that it's very quick, that it's very instant, and that there are things that still attract my curiosity. So in a way, with war work, as I'll say later, the soundtrack is kind of incidental. The film is what I think is most important, and the soundtrack is incidental. But on the other hand, fortunately, the soundtrack is incredibly powerful. So I think I'm a very lucky, I wouldn't say a lucky artist, but a lucky composer and filmmaker, composer-filmmaker, filmmaker-composer, that I can do both these things with a different kind of interest, with a different kind of sense of relaxation, because I'm relaxed as a composer and relaxed as a filmmaker, and I'm very confident with my films, and they're very quick. There's no actors, there's no script, there's no planning, and even with war work, there's a kind of improvisatory element which has more to do with being an artist than a filmmaker.
It certainly is. Thank you so much. One last silly question. Oggi è il 7 luglio, come abbiamo detto. Le due grandi notizie sono che Michael Nyman prende il diploma honoris causa per il centro sperimentale ed è una notizia che gli fa molto piacere, e l'Inghilterra va in semifinale alla Coppa del Mondo. Vorrei chiedergli un commento, perché già ne stavamo parlando prima di iniziare questa intervista e quindi so che gli fa piacere.
And, you know, the problem is that the politicians will take it as being an indication that Brexit is right, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's sad. The terrible thing about football, and the terrible thing about the possibility of England being successful, is this terrible kind of triumphalism. I'm very unhappy that Italy is not in the World Cup finals. I'm very unhappy that I wasn't even happy that Germany lost. I was very, very unhappy that Belgium beat Japan, and I'm deeply upset about that. But the thing is that I spend all my time. There's a BBC channel called Radio 5, and they spend all day talking about football, and they have experts. And what is going to happen? Who is going to do this? You know, such and such. What is the result going to be? And nobody knows anything. And what was astonishing about the Belgium-Japan match is that the whole course of a match can change in the final 25 seconds of a match. And that's more exciting than anything that happens in any artwork. It's just more exciting than anything happens in a film, a play, any kind of time-based art. Stockhausen, if I'd been there at Tate Modern, but you kind of know what happens at the end. Every great film you see, you know what happens. A great football match is just magnificently unpredictable. So what I'm pleased about with England is that actually England, I would almost say we, are playing good football. And I support a team called Queen's Park Rangers, which is very close to Chelsea in everything except finance and ability. And Raheem Sterling, who was the best player on the pitch this afternoon, was a QPR player before he was sold to Liverpool. So I feel that I kind of partly own Sterling.
Thank you so much. All the best for your music, all the best for England, all the best. Thank you very much.